In part 2, Claire talks about how she has begun to build on her earlier experience as a novice critical companion to become a strategic and enabling leader at both micro and mesosystem levels. Using what she's learned about critical companionship and leadership with others in her team and across the organisation, Claire describes the positive impact on developing flourishing from fractured cultures and collective leadership. You can read more about this impact in a pre-publication in the recommended reading section for this domain.
Again, this was through sort of just after I'd done the clinical leadership programme and reflecting on my own leadership skills, thinking about the speech and language therapy team at the time, which is the team that I was the head of and the leader of. And at the time, the team were a little bit fractured, and I really wanted to lead them to a flourishing department, which I'm really pleased to say that they now are, and being led by another amazing leader. So I spent some time really just going back to some of the really basics of culture and team management, I guess. Things like putting a vision in place that we all are fed into, get together and say, okay, what are we here to do? What's our purpose? That collective leadership, what are we here to do? What do we want to do? Is that something we can achieve? What is it that we can achieve in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 months, 6 months, and how do we get there? And we put in sort of regular one-to-ones, both well-being one-to-ones, supervisions and management one-to-ones as well. So where you could go and have your shift signed off and your annual leave signed off and all those kinds of things. But also we put in that clinical learning one-to-ones as well, where actually you have someone that can really develop you as a clinician rather than being your manager. They're there to champion you as a clinician and really help lead you as a clinician. So we put those in place, and then we started to set objectives for our service as a sort of more senior leadership team within the speech therapy. We thought, okay, what is it that we're here to achieve? We've got our vision. How are we going to get there? What objectives do we need to put in as a service? And then how do those objectives then feed down the appraisal system to every member of the staff, so that every member feels like they're making a difference. Every member of staff feels like they're making a difference. They've got their own objectives, which feed into our speech therapy objectives, which then ultimately feed up to the trust objectives and so on, filtered down through the whole service, so that everyone felt like they owned something, and everyone felt like they were making a difference. And that really has changed the culture of that team, just by doing some of those really simple things.
Well, it really sounds though there, Claire, that you're using the critical companionship framework processes and way of being and leading as a strategic leader. So it's an example of how critical companionship isn't just about helping some people to learn and to be reflective and learn in and from their practice, but it's also useful for doing one's job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever one job is. Yeah.
I really do believe that, and I think that has certainly been something that's followed me through since 2018 to now, and I think that's really helped me when I'm thinking. And so now I've just started in this new role. I really need to think about, how I want to take this new team that I have forward, and how I'm going to do that, and how the team are going to own that. How, you can only. I think part of everyone's job is often getting things done through other people, isn't it? But actually, in order to do that, you've got to the team have got to want to do it, and they've got to want to follow you. So how do you get those people to follow you? And I think the only way you can do that really is by listening to them, and by growing a service that is something they want to work in, and they want to be a part of.